I'm fantastic, actually. Yeah, very good. Very much looking forward to getting back to a little bit of normality. Of course, with Strictly Come Dancing beginning again, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, that must be great, given how much uncertainty there's been.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no one knew whether, of course, the BBC were going to be able to do it, number one, and number two, whether this series obviously would go ahead, and especially in the lead up to Christmas. I think it's really important that people have some hopes and dreams, as well.
You need a bit of glitter and sequins and glamour to kind of distract you from the news.
Absolutely. I mean, because that's all we're hearing about. So it's going to be so lovely.
You've got a great lineup so far.
Yeah, I think they're great, aren't they? I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing Caroline Quentin. Bill Bailey should provide us with a few laughs, I'm hoping.
When I heard Bill was announced, I was like, hold on, really?
Yeah, no, I did too, I have to admit. But
he's very musical.
Yeah, but he might come and surprise us all. Of course, he has rhythm naturally in his blood. He's an entertainer. He's a musician. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Also, it's wonderful to have the Jamie Lang back, of course, who couldn't do the show last year due to injury. So I'm hoping that doesn't reoccur. He has a second opportunity now to prove himself and come back and try and win it.
I was just, you mentioned 2004 being the first year of Strictly, and it occurred to me, you haven't changed one bit. What sort of elixir are you drinking? You haven't aged at all.
So it's called Botox. Haven't you ever heard of it? Actually,
sign me up.
I do use that as a lie. I think actually I've just because I don't really smile very much or use my facial expressions, I've probably protected myself. And plus, I mean, I suppose if I was living back in Australia where I was born, some damage would have occurred. But as I've lived in England now for 30 years, I don't see that much sun, actually. It's protected me. I don't know. I think some people just have youth and beauty on their side all their lives, and I think I'm one of the lucky ones.
Well, if you ever manage to bottle it, send me a sample, will you?
Oh, darling, I'd make a fortune.
Away from Strictly, you've done so much else, because you've choreographed and directed West End shows. You were involved in Paddington 2 as well.
Oh, I loved doing that with Hugh Grant. That was absolutely fantastic. I did the final sequence, which was set in a prison, and Paddington Bear had dyed all the uniforms pink because he put some red socks in the wash. And I came up with a very camp ending and taught Hugh how to tap dance, and he did a big tap number with all the inmates, and it was hilarious. It's probably one of the funnest days I think I've had filming ever. It was so good. And Hugh was amazing.
And we need more of those sort of films, don't we? Those fun, almost old-fashioned films with musical numbers and all of that.
They are creating them, as we go along. But of course, the genre has changed a little bit. But there's still a lot of dance in movies, which I think is fantastic. And I think that's largely due to Strictly Come Dancing going, worldwide. It's a worldwide phenomenon when you consider that Strictly is in the Guinness Book of Records as the most produced format in the world. And now, including Mongolia just last week, It has now gone to 60 countries. So Mongolia made up the 60th country it's gone to. So, I mean, we never thought, literally in May in 2004, that it would be that big. In fact, Len and I gave it 3 weeks. We didn't think it would last. We thought they'd pull it. We thought it was so dreadful and such a terrible idea.
I bet you were never so glad to be wrong.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm very glad to be wrong, because it's provided, a lot of entertainment for people all over the world for 16 years and counting, which is amazing, and allowed me to do other things with my life as well. Not only direct and choreograph shows, but to actually perform and star in shows like Annie, playing Miss Hannigan and doing Panto. Obviously, all of that has been scuppered because of COVID, and the theatre's not opening, which is a real shame. But it's given me a chance, to write, darling.
Yes.
My new novel.
We heard this. You have a new novel. It is coming out. Tell us everything.
I spent part of while I was in Australia doing Dancing with the Stars, writing it, and then I came back, and of course COVID allowed me to finish it, which was great. So being locked at home with nowhere to go and no one to see, it was a perfect time to write. So came up with Dancers and Dreams on Diamond Street, and it's a romp really based on my real life, actually, in Camden Town when I was living there in a 6-bedroom house, in a house share, and how life was tough, and how you come from all different walks of life and come together and form a family, and that's what it was. So I've written a romantic novel, actually, which people won't expect from me. They'll think it's just full of nasty comments and dives, but actually it's not. It's a really gorgeous story about this guy, Danny, who creates this 6-bedroom sort of live-in, share together thing. And that's sort of where I was in my life in 1994, and I set it there because life in those days wasn't simple, but it was different. And of course, everyone wanted to be something in their lives at that point. So it's a really good point to come in to a story, I think, and provides a big opportunity because it's set over 6 months from the summer of 94 until the Christmas time. So it provides, the idea and concept that you want to follow these characters and move on, obviously, to another book.
I was going to ask that.
I'm not going to lie, darling. I'm not going to lie.
It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you this morning. You've very much whetted my appetite for this book now. I'm going to have to get stuck into it.
Oh, yeah, you will. It's a good read.
Absolutely will. Great to talk to you. Looking forward to seeing you back on TV in the autumn with Strictly. It's only a couple of weeks away now, isn't it?
Oh, I know. Yeah, we film the launch show very soon, and then we go live on the 24th of October. And I'll be separated from all the other judges, which I'm loving. 2 weeks apart. No one can touch me. No one can take selfies. I love it.
Well, listen, we can't wait to see you back on. Craig, thanks a million for talking to us this morning.
Okay, take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Craig.